This is the Barstewards Inquiry.
Right? You're talking absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish.
In what way?
You were an underachiever in life. I saved your bacon one time. You were gone.
You handled that well. I couldn't save you. But you did the right thing.
But that's why you don't know anything about racing, John.
I didn't say I do.
Right?
I'm saying that...
What have you contributed to racing? You're one of these take-out merchants. Take out all you can.
Hello and a warm welcome. Yes, Barstewards Inquiry time. This is the show you all want. It's the Boxing Day tipping podcast. Yes, we're back tipping like we should be, I suppose. Demand for the Friday show is strong. It's never coming back, so make sure you listen to this one. Also, give us a subscribe on Patreon and make sure you get the early content, which is, of course, this goes out before the masses. And joining me for this show tonight, as well as my main cohort in Jonas Lang, we have got two brilliant guests tonight to go through the racing on Boxing Day. It is, of course, our best national judge, Andy Richmond, and, of course, Cathryn Fry, who is absolutely mustard with the Irish and loves this time of year. And it's a pleasure to have you both back on the show. Good evening, all.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. Lovely intro.
I love this game.
I love this game.
This game.
Yeah. Andy's accent there sounded a mix between Arsenal and sort of Wigan.
Well, that's probably where it would be at the moment. Yeah.
I thought you sounded like the dark-haired one out of ABBA.
Is that Bjorn?
No, I meant the bird, I guess.
But he meant the bird.
I think you might have better legs than me, John.
Ah, fucking hell.
He's 86, Andy. There won't be much in it.
You got through my legs, John.
So anyway, the format for this show, as always, we're not going to do the old 1, 2, 3 points because there's no points to be done on these shows. But of course, we will give our best selections out over the televised races and come up with a lucky 15 style bet at the end of the show and any other business, of course, over the Christmas period for you to get stuck into from the likes of Cathryn, Andy, John and myself. Here we go then. We'll start away from Kempton because there's 6 televised races, 1 at Wetherby, 1 at Aintree and 4 at Kempton. So let's head out north to the outside toilets course of Wetherby. It's the 135, it's the Rowland Meyrick. Heading the market is Cruise Control for the Tom Lacey Yard, with the excellent Stan Shepherd on board. 11-4 market leader. Sad to throw a curveball in this, chaps. Big Sandy has decided to shove Mr. Incredible in to get everyone out of the handicap. 4 out of the handicap in this. Who wants to kick me off with an opinion on the Rowland Meyrick?
I'll give you an opinion. It ain't the race it used to be.
No.
Can I read you what I've written in my notes?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
I've written Rowland Meyrick, underlined. A pile of shite. It saddens me to look at it. I can't even tip in this race. Sorry, guys.
Can I lighten the mood then and take you down memory lane?
Exactly, please.
I'll give you that, Cathryn, that it's not the race it used to be. It's actually named after the clerk of the course at Wetherby in the 1920s.
I thought he was a champion turnip farmer.
If you go back through the 80s, look at the horses that ran in this. Sunset Cristo, what a great horse he was. Rich D, Forgive and Forget, the 1985 Gold Cup winner. These are all winners of it. The Thinker, Richard Dunwoody, who won the 1977 Gold Cup. Yahoo, who of course was notably second to Desert Orchid in a Gold Cup. 1989 Durham Edition won it, who was second in 2 Grand Nationals, 5th in another one and 6th in another one. And the 5th in the Grand National in 1989, which Little Polville won. West Tip was second and the Thinker was 3rd. That was when jump racing really was proper jump racing. I would venture a tip in it, actually.
Go on.
I agree with you that Stan Shepherd is excellent. His father has had an absolutely belting year. I'm not that keen on Cruise Control. Tom Lacey's not really had a great year, to be honest with you. And even though Mr. Thompson has kept most amount of the handicap, I thought that Scene Nominee was running quite well last time. Actually made some really daft mistakes. And I noticed they've changed the jockey to Mr. Turner this time, claiming 5. That would certainly be one to keep on side. And Sun Scope would be the other one with the excellent Callum Pritchard stealing £7, because he really is stealing £7. I'd split a stake between those two and try and go against the favourite there. But it certainly isn't the race it used to be.
No.
I mean, good boy Bobby won this, 2 years ago? He won that off 146.
Yeah.
That he's more missed than hit these days. I'd go Some Scope and see no Nominee at the prices.
Cathryn?
If you had to twist my arm and say you've got to have a bet in this, Fry, you miserable old sod, I would back a thumb scope, just as Andy's alluded to there. I think Callum Pritchard is excellent for his £7 claim. I just looked at this and wanted to cry, to be honest with you.
Yeah, interesting listening to you two there. John, have you anything on this?
I think first of all, it's only fair to point out to the listeners that although this being a Christmas show, Fry's turned up in fancy dress here.
Am I? Fucking news to me.
She's wearing her sex elf out.
What's a sex elf?
Well, it's an elf that does sex, obviously. It's got all the accoutrements and the chains and everything and the fishnets. It's very attractive.
I hate to burst your bubble, John, but do you want to know what I'm actually wearing?
Go on.
I'm wearing my Elvis Presley sock.
No surprise there, it is Christmas.
Yeah.
Are you lonesome tonight?
I'm wearing a pair of old dusty trackers because I've been up finding fucking Christmas decorations. And I'm wearing a Pink Floyd t-shirt. Sorry to burst your bubble.
Love it.
Yeah.
Very musical.
It's a nice relaxed look, Cathryn.
I don't know, I don't think I could pull this.
It's a step in the right direction, but possibly your legions of fans might disagree.
Okay.
I'm going to say we've got masses of Fry fanboys on the Barstewards. Masses of Fry fanboys.
There has to be a Fry calendar soon.
There does.
But with December as a sex elf.
Me and my Elvis Presley socks.
Yeah.
Well, just those.
Yeah, you're that kind of sex elf.
But I wonder if you get that name through as a horse, sex elf.
No, it BHA, yeah. Easy.
Call it Hex Health, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Call it 6L. They'd do that, I think. Fry, I mean, you love it or Elvis, don't you? You absolutely love Elvis.
Fucking right, yeah.
What was the guy that you would listen to, went to watch him? You said he was different class.
Ben Portsmouth.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. He's not just different class. He is the fucking fittest guy I've ever seen in my life.
Has he been doing tours recently, or?
Yeah, he does tours every year. Unfortunately, he only ever comes to Cheltenham like once every 2 years. And he came like this year, but unfortunately, it was when my mum was really ill and she was in hospital, so I couldn't go. All my mates were going, so I just gave my ticket away. And I'm gutted because apparently he was like really acting up for the ladies and that. I had a front row ticket.
You'll want to see him for 4 years when he comes back.
That exactly, yeah.
Christ, you'll be able to hit a fly on the ceiling, right?
Yeah, but get this, John, as well, right? He comes back literally a couple of days before my 50th birthday. So I'm going to be too old. It'd be like grab a granny night. Fucking past it, 50, aren't you?
Oi, do you mind?
Absolutely not.
You hope not.
Still in my prime. Can we get back onto the racing page?
I was in midweek madness mode there. Right, no.
There's no wonder that lad was calling the shit out of his today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, look, people are going to say we're totally shite.
The Rowland Meyrick, the champion turnip rower of old Wetherby town. I just thought cruise control could hardly have found the worst running of this race. Just packed with opers and corpses, and I'd be very worried if he can't knock this penalty in. I mean, this is a penalty and the goalie's fucked off, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll offer my 2 penneth, which is obviously different to Fry and Andy. I think the Fav has legs in it at 11-4 because this horse last year won at Aintree, beating Sam Brown and Forward Plan. And I think that's very strong form.
Sam Brown's older than Fry.
Yeah.
It is.
And he's a gelding. Yeah.
But obviously, the third horse, Andy, you absolutely adore in Forward Plan. Wax lyrical about that.
Yeah, you know I'm the
I read your stuff, so there you go. And I think this is the race that they've lined up for this. Spin over hurdles last time. They're off 148. I think they're having a tilt at the national. Obviously, it's going to be 66s, 100s in a national. But to win a national, you're going to have to win this to get in, get some extra poundage on. I agree with you two on some scope, etc. But Carl Inchy, why are you running an horse £14 out of handicap? Why on earth? Like, just go for another target. It's not like you're going to win fortunes for winning. I know it's not the strongest of races, so I also get that angle. And I like what you said about Callum Pritchard, because it is nearly a 3-7. That takes him down a 131 from his 138. And you could probably argue that he's very well handicapped anyway, off 124. I do get that. But I'm still saying that cruise control, this will be here, like, fully tuned up. That's where I'm at. 11-4 is more than fair. So that's where I'm at on that race. John, any more to add on that?
I think you've more than adequate.
We've soiled the podcast after one race, but we're good at that.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, we'll go to Aintree then before we come on to the main course.
It's only because Cathryn's here. We're normally much more professional. than
Yeah, it is. It's because I'm here.
It's like when males sit round a female in a pub and it's like they get all excited that they've not seen a female for months.
It's like when you're like at work and you're on the same shift as all of your mates and you start like getting naughty.
Yeah, that it is because it's been so long. Right, the 105 at Aintree is the George Formby Novices hurdle.
I've got one of these grills.
No, that's George Foreman, John.
When I'm grilling chicken.
Mean green frying machine.
Has anyone got one of them?
No.
Yeah, just told you.
I used to have one, yeah.
Or have we all moved on to air fryers?
Nah,
and
I haven't
Luminescence?
got one of those. It's pretty traditional down here.
John,
Fair
we
enough.
still love when George Foreman smacked Jerry Cooney in face. Jerry Cooney had temerity to get up after he was knocked down, and then George.
To be
backed
fair, he
him
could
out.
have hit him on Big Toe and he'd have knocked him out.
Big hairy chested George Cooney as well, which boxers don't have these days. I don't know where this is going at all.
They all shave these days.
This is a racing podcast.
It is, of course. All you racing journalists, listen to this podcast and you will know the way not to do it. 105 then at Aintree is, of course, the Grade 1 event there. So Potter's Charm heads the market. It's going to chime in first here with their opinion on this one.
The silence is absolutely shocking.
I just saw a tumbleweed.
The enthusiasm.
Well, we're being polite and letting ladies first.
Oh, you wanted me to go first? Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm actually against the favourite purely because I don't think he is a 2-miler. Scratching my head, they're on about he'll either go to the whatever it's called these days, the opening hurdle on the Wednesday. I still call it the Sun Alliance hurdle. The Ballymore, is it these days, or is it not anymore? Anyway, you know the one I mean, the 2 mile 5. I scratched my head over this. They said he's either going to go there or the Albert Bartlett. Like, you know, sometimes like Big Knives, he drops a few clangers, doesn't he? I think that Aintree's pretty trappy. I'm not sure about the pace. I think this is going to be run at a mighty pace, and I don't think Potter Chalmers' pace. I think Potter Chalmers is a very, very good horse, and it's going to sound really harsh. If he was in a different stable, I would actually be looking at him as a Gold Cup horse for the future. But I think he's in the wrong hands, and as harsh as that may sound, I actually was impressed with Country Mile at Cheltenham. I thought the way he travelled, he just looked good. He looked full of running. And I'm even more delighted that Keelan Woods is riding him rather than Harry. I'm not going to have a bet in this race, but if I was, then I would back Country Mile. Road less travelled. The problem with the stable is they either win and look fantastic or they bomb out, and at some point that horse is going to bomb out, and is it going to be on Boxing Day? Given the way the skeletons are going, I will make Country Mile my selection.
And that's available at around the 6-1 mark with Bet365 and 11-2 with 3 firms. At the time of recording, obviously very difficult at the times that you listen to this, whether the prices are accurate or not. Okay, Cathryn, got your selection there. Andy?
If you had a klaxon, you'd be getting it out.
Ooh.
Rout?
Excellent place for Country Mile, who I thought was a little bit unfortunate against Road Less Travelled last time out. His jumping needs to be a little bit sharper. It still wasn't the best at Cheltenham if you watch that round, and it certainly wasn't at Haydock in the Haydock slop. But like Cathryn, I'm not a massive Harry Skelton fan. I think he's the worst champion jockey we've had in the last. And if he wins it this year, I'll probably cry. Sean Bowen and Harry Cobden are about light years in front of him as a driver. He's got 2 ways of riding, either from the front, glass them off, or hold them up out the back miles too far, and he gives me fits every time. If he wasn't riding for his brother, I think he'd get about 25 rides a year.
Well, he did, didn't he, before Dan really took off, didn't he?
That might be a bit harsh, but I'm pleased to see Keelan Woods. I know that our Northern Paddock expert is not a fan of Keelan.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be my first selection, but he's preferable to Harry.
I think that was where I was going.
Yeah.
So I think he can beat Road Less Travelled on better ground. The sharper track will certainly, it's pretty sharp round Aintree. I think they'll go a good pace because I think they'll ride Road Less Travelled from the front. Potter's Charm, I agree with what Cathryn said. I just don't see the point in bringing him back to 2 miles.
I don't get it. Especially with a horse that you've already nominated. You're going to go one of two
Yeah.
places in March. You know where you're going with him. And I just think, what the fuck?
I mean, all his starts over hurdles have been over 2.5
Yeah.
miles. He doesn't look short of pace, but it is pretty sharp round.
He's not short of pace. He's just not of that pace.
No, that's where I agree with you. If there was a fly in the ointment, it's a yard who were totally out of form earlier in the year. Stuart Edmonds, he couldn't buy a winner.
Yeah.
Miami Magic in that period actually ran pretty well. He beat Trees last time out at Kempton, but he's probably a little bit overpriced. But if I had to back one in this, it's not really my sort of race. Country Mile strikes me as the one that, if there was one more runner in this race, it'd be the proverbial each way bet to nothing. But I do think he's overpriced at sort of 6's 13-2.
Good stuff. The old klaxon there. Jonas?
I think there's a big improver in here. Good and Clever last year acquitted quite well in bumpers, despite it looked a bit like one of my IKEA kits where you've had the instructions upside down when you put it together.
It looks like that if you've got on the right way up, John.
He went in a note milk last year as a type to do well for a break. Much to my chagrin, he turned up at Newbury a month ago looking a bit like a molested otter.
I must write that down.
I'm picturing that now.
Molested otter.
I think that would have brought him on enormously. He ran miles better than I expected him to at Newbury. I think this horse has a performance in him, and I think it's coming soon.
He's a lovely price, John.
Well, I don't know if it's coming tomorrow, but I think there's something imminent with this horse because he made great strides through the break. He looked as though he would come on a ton for that run last time.
And he's got a great jockey on board as well.
Well, that would be a sex thing, Rio, won't it?
Oh, Christ, I'm old enough.
Yeah, we know.
No, right.
We get this all the time.
Just for the record, listeners, I don't want to shag James Bowen.
Well, nobody's going to send him in for you to shag. You don't need to make an announcement. There's a fucking taxi rolling up with James Bowen. Oiled up.
I heard on the path.
Oiled up. James Bowen, if you're one of the listeners, there you go.
I highly doubt he listens to this, but if he does, he's in for a shock anyway.
Absolutely. Right.
He thought you wanted to shag him.
A different spinning again, which is good, of course, because obviously good to disagree. Potter's Charm. I get what both Cathryn and Andy have said regarding the trip, but I do think that there will be a few idiots in here. You've got Roadless Travelled, Celtic Dino, Miami Magic, all go forwards, and I think this will suit the strong travelling Potter's Charm on deeper ground, let's say, than it was at Cheltenham. Because no matter what it turns up on Thursday, despite no rain potentially coming up at Aintree over the next 3 days, it's going to be slower than Cheltenham. And if you look on the A's, the Cheltenham track has been suiting front runners a lot lately. I do believe that Aintree is not of that ilk. The hurdles course is not really a front runner's course. You can check the stats. And if they do go at it, Potter's Charm at 2-1 is a little bit of value, and I would be nearer the 13-8 that Denise has us. So I'm a Potter's Charm fan. I think he's a very good horse, 2-1. If it turns up good to soft on the day, I'd be less confident. If it turns up sort of there's a good dig in the ground, I would be very confident on Potter's Charm at 2-1.
You've got a blogger on the
Yeah,
show,
what's going on?
I have, but listen, you haven't had the nap yet.
You're on with one of these internet bookies. Look at my 2-1 treble. Give you £100.
Absolutely, but listen, it's winners in this game. It's winners. We all want winners. Listen, the next one is better, and it is the nap of the absolute show. And I defy anyone to defy me on this one.
We'll let you go first.
No, I'm going to stay quiet. We're moving to Kempton now.
Thank fuck for that.
All right, I'll go first. Like you say, it's only 12:45 race there, the first televised race on the card. I think this is a battle of the fat heads. Pumpkin, Dan Skelton. Massively round faces on Boxing Day appearing on your screen.
It's like the carnivals in town.
Yeah. Huge round faces.
Massive heads.
Absolutely. They'll turn up like, they look like they've had 6 Christmas dinners between them. They're going to get interviewed prior to the off. I am falling here for Big Dan, Desperate Dan's Fire Flyer. No, it's bad about. What about?
Mix them up yourself.
I know, I've got it wrong. Fire Flyer. 9-1 was available, which I just laughed at. 6-1, he's still good. This should be nearly fav with Asta La Pasta. I'll be doing the reverse forecast as well. The pair.
Doing a Davis.
Yes,
yeah?
absolutely. What a chasing debut this was, because the one it ran second to, I think he'll win off another £20 higher. It's great form. How on earth has the handicapper left Fire Flyer on the same mark when he's put the winner up 7 and literally coming to the last, it was about a length down, first run of the season, probably wasn't that busy knowing Nichols and stuff. This is just absolutely mustard. This should be like 100 to 30, 3 to 1-ish. Asta La Pasta, I get, he's keen, held up. He's a knobhead, isn't he, Asta La Pasta? That's the problem.
What are you talking about, Nichols?
Well, yeah.
But you can't say things about Nichols, they get tweets, get taken
Yeah, they do,
down.
absolutely, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
As we've
yeah.
seen from
Johnny Deneen.
Johnny Deneen. But just going through the
Yeah.
race, so here's my notes. Range doesn't look that well handicapped off 131, up £8 for beating one of Venice at Chepstow. Doesn't look that strong a form. Asta La Pasta, I put lacks a brain. Still keen, jumps to the right, so going right-handed will suit. And the way he moved through the race at Newbury suggests 130 is well in. First Street, well handicapped over fences, but I'm not sure about his love for the game, and his win's not that great. El Rio won good last time, probably win again, but this is a much stronger race. As I've already said about Fire Flyer, look at his hurdles form as well. Secret Squirrely beat. Thank you, Mom, that pissed up on Saturday off 118.
Good ride that by young Olive.
Yeah.
The infinitely better rider than her sister.
We pointed out, of course, on the sermon, and I think Olive's a great pilot. I really do. She shouldn't have rode at Il Ridotto because, obviously, I think experience counts in races like that.
Yeah.
If Olive turned up on a fav, let's say first time she's rode it, and you're getting a £7 off, and I like the fav, I will back Olive, no problem. I won't have a problem with Olive Nichols at all. I think she's very good. Just being fair there. And 126 is very fair for Fire Flyer. Should be nearly fav. 6 to 1 still monstrous. That's the nap of the entire Boxing Day cards. Fire Flyer for the Cobden. Fry.
Sorry. When you said, I dare to defy anyone to defy me.
Yeah.
I am going to defy you. Sorry.
That's what we like.
I'm actually going with last year's third, a Perfecto. He's obviously had his problems, this horse. Very lightly raced for a 9-year-old.
Third of the year, being veterans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this is why I think Kingy's going all right at the moment, and I think he's spotted a little opportunity here. Lightly raised 9-year-old, he's obviously not in it anywhere as his family, but he does come from a lovely light jumping family like Corkscrew Royal, Shadow Ellen, all those. I think the stable is in good form. Gavin Sheehan is in good form at the moment. And I think that the price is okay at 13 to 2. And seeing as it's the first race at Kempton on Boxing Day, we'll probably be having a little nibble on that. And was a course and distance winner last time out.
In terms of a trading opportunity, he's been a fanny in past, hasn't he?
Yeah, massive.
Do you think they've sorted something out?
I think I have, but I also think that they realise that time is of the essence. Time is running out. Let's go get a Boxing Day winner on the TV.
Yeah.
Been a fair old while since Kingy's had sort of that prominence over jumps anyway.
Excellent pilot on board.
He's very strong, Gavin. I actually think the last couple of seasons he's actually improved.
If you get him on a front runner, you really do want to.
I just think he spotted an opportunity here that this horse probably won't go on and run in veterans because I don't think he's got the legs for it. I just think the run last time out was great. We won over course and distance. Let's now go for this on Boxing Day. Let's face it, British racing, the fucking state of it at the moment, this isn't the strongest first race we've ever seen on a Boxing Day. I used to go to Kempton every Boxing Day, and it isn't really until we get to the big two that we actually have what I'd really call races. Anyway, he'll be my bet.
Fair play. I'm pretty confident it will trade shorter as well for you traders out there, like a few quid. Andy.
Get a klaxon out.
Here we go.
I agree with the boss. It's absolutely lobbed in.
Yeah, I think so.
That Billy the Real Big Red, it got beaten by at Exeter. I mean, that is absolutely lobbed in. The horse looks like a chaser, potentially really well handicapped, having been led off this same mark. I think the better ground will also suit him. If you're a time player or a time figures man, the Exeter run was very good on times. He's had a breathing op. He looked back at some of his hurdles form, it was very good. You've got Harry Cobden on board, who is one of, if not the best jockey riding. Him and Sean Bowen are probably the best two at the moment. Though I do like Charlie Deutsch as well. I think he's very underrated. But Fire Flyer, if you can get 6s or 7s, I'm pretty sure it will not be that on the day.
No, it'll be into nearly disputing favouritism for me on the day. Great stuff. A second klaxon, Richmond and Fry, the first one. and Richmond and Keys with the next one. John.
I'm actually siding with the Gloucester sex elf here.
Look, do you mind? It's not Gloucester, it's Cheltenham. There is a very big divide between Cheltenham and Gloucester.
This S Perfecto was a former horse to follow the man over the sticks. And as a result, I've kept quite a close eye on this. I think this is a fantastic jump for a novice. Novice 9-year-old. And to me, he's had quite a few questionable rides where he's been given an awful lot to do in not particularly quickly run races. But even though he's been asked to make ground up when it was possibly the quickest part of a race, his jumping's held up fantastic. There's enough pace on here to offset that Boxing Day. And I think 13.2 is a very good price. The other one I liked in the race was Leader in the Park, who I think is a chaser in waiting, and has some pretty decent form from Ascot last year. Chased home a horse called Barnog. I think that was old Pumpkin Heads as well. That's rated much higher now than it was at the time. I think that one's got a bit of scope to improve as well. So confidently expect Lee's nap to wipe the floor with those two, but I just thought I'd give them a mention anyway.
No. There should be some common forecasts here in Firefly, Espefecto, and Asta La Pasta. I think that could be the way to go. Confidence behind Espefecto. Like I said, I know he's passed. He's been a cowbag for a lot of his life, but they might have sorted it because I remember commenting him running last time, and I think I said to the producer, I think he jumped the third or second last as well. This never finds, and he did.
The last and landed on your knackers then.
Yeah, of course. I don't forgive these types very easily. He's not the artist. He hasn't been for his entire life, so why he'd suddenly get hearty now, I don't know. Maybe they've told him he's going to be Christmas dinner someday, I don't know. Or end up in Swindon Abattoir or something like that. Yeah, that's another controversial subject. I know. End up with the Grey, the Moniers.
Oh, don't. Yeah. That's awful.
I know. The Moniers sent one there.
That programme upset me so much. Yeah. It made me so fucking angry.
Yeah.
Lammy Surge? Was it Lammy Surge?
Something like that. Yeah. Lovely Grey ended up in Swindon.
Yeah, beautiful. I'm going to have a mini rant here. Why has nobody fucking gone back to them two and said, "Oi, how did your horse end up here?" Has anyone gone back to those two, or do they pile too much into the game for questions to be asked?
Their face fits too much.
We don't upset the apple cart, Cathryn.
Well, we do.
Yeah, we do. But then no one talks to us, so that's it. Absolutely.
True, yeah.
Terrible people, vile, uncouth human beings.
Look what you've turned me into.
I know we've cost you jobs, we've cost you livelihood, we've absolutely knackered your racing career.
I didn't really have one, to be honest.
No, but do you still do the BBC Radio Gloucester?
I don't really get to go racing much these days. I did work for the BBC at the Showcase, but that was the last time I was at Cheltenham. Next time I'll probably be at Cheltenham, probably be Trials Day, and I'll just be there as a punter.
You say hi to Ash Simmons.
Ash, he's all right. Yeah. He is. Listen, Ash, and I know Ash listens to this.
I know he does. I like people making the way in this game. Full kudos to them. But unfortunately, the advice I've given to a local journalist that he's up and coming, I really like him. He's on one of the major podcasts, so I'm not going to name him, but he came to me and he said, "Do you think I'll have a career in this game?" And I said, "Yes, just don't be like us."
Yeah, don't be like us. Yeah, absolutely.
That simple.
You've got to toe the party line.
I'm afraid that's the way racing is, sadly.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway.
It doesn't take much to upset people, I can tell you that from my time on the telly.
It doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Even if you've got the facts and data, and you're not actually besmirching their training careers and just sort of say they're a little bit out of form, oh dear, they get very, very touchy.
Yeah, they write in.
I did have somebody ring me up and say they were going to send me 6 horses and see how well I could train them. I'd quite like a go at it. At least my answer was at least I could put them in the right races.
I think that's it. I think racing is a big thing when you're training, and it isn't just getting them fit, it's making a plan for your horses. That's why Mr. Charles Burns.
God love Charles now. Come on.
Please, God, I have not had a shilling on this horse.
Do you know who Charles Burns reminds me of? You know in Father Ted?
Yeah.
Do you know the other priest on Ragged Island?
Yeah.
Father Dick Byrne. Yeah.
Father Dick Byrne.
That's who Charles Burns reminds me of.
That's why I love the Irish.
There's lots of characters in Father Ted who remind me of training.
Yeah.
The best episode of Father Ted was the priest football match.
Oh, it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah. John, speaking of Father Ted, I like the Pat Mustard.
Oh, God, yeah.
He wants me to put his big tool in my pot.
Yeah, the milkman. I thought that was the best episode ever.
And now to ride Mrs. O'Reilly.
Great Steve Norton in the 70s.
Yeah.
Pat Mustard.
Old Pat Mustard.
They're all hairy babies on Craggy Island. They've all got the sideburns.
Yeah. The 120 is the Kauto Star Novices Chase, of course, formerly known as the Felton for
Oh, yeah, the Felton.
our older listeners. That was an old thing for Savile, the Felton, John.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking of that, did you watch Steve Coogan play Savile?
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jesus, what a performance. He had him to a T and it was just creepy as fuck.
Now, I might have to watch that.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds strange to say it's very good,
Yeah.
but as Cathryn has just very succinctly said, in a
very eloquently
in
said.
a very creepy way.
Yeah.
It was on a par with my Max Bygrave's impression. If anything ever comes out about Max, I'm going to make fucking millions.
Fuck.
Right. Can I say, it's any other racing podcast, before the Kauto Star Novices Chase, mention Mike Bygraves, Jimmy Savile, Pat Mustard, Father
Steve
Ted,
Cook.
Steve Cook. This is why it's just so brilliant. If you say it's not, well, you go and listen to the boring idiots that just tweet. This is a nice, lengthy chaser.
I'm waiting for what John says about one of his favourite owners in this.
Who's his favourite owner? Hang on. Is it?
There's two, aren't they? Both manage football.
Oh, okay.
teams.
Yeah.
Good old jukebox man. His favourite for this. And John, I'll start off with you then, because you like this owner.
Yeah. He's up and this runs like it's got a pole up his ass. Dear old Harry has to go home and beg Sondra for a bit of
Sondra!
Jam Roly Poly and Castor, elder Harry product there after he went in jungle.
Yeah. I'm not much running for the milk, I'm afraid. It'll probably go on with nothing.
He jumped very big at Newbury. He got the first few low, then would jump very big to compensate. You can see a massive step forward from the jukebox. Obviously has the best hurdles form. Highland jumped to the maximum I thought it could do last time, and that's the best it's got in it because it couldn't have jumped much better. Masaccio, I think, is a knobhead. And the reason I say this is because if you watch at Aintree last year, how did Pyramid Place run past it like it was stood still after it took it up on the running? I've got big doubts about Masaccio and its arsedness. So if I was to punt in this, if the White Rhino touches like a bit of 10 on the machine, there's no bet at the moment at the prices, but if that touches 10 on the machine, I'm into White Rhino because
I'm waiting for the White Rhino to drift and I'm going to back him.
Yeah, this is like the success story. 74, this won its first handicap off. It's rated 141. The great game. Even Charles Burns can't do that.
It's won 7 of its last 11 races.
I'd love to see old Harry. Oh, fucking hell. In the beaten horses, and also just to wipe that fucking smug smile off fucking Nico's face as well. What I really like about White Rhino, so all right, he's only got £7 to find with the jukebox man right now, but I think he's really tough. He's versatile. He's won a 3-mile hurdle, and that was at Cheltenham. He will stay. I'm hoping he drifts. Like you say, I think 10. I would go in there.
Highland and the jukebox man might take each other on.
Exactly.
You know I'm a fan of Forward Plan, Lee. So if you've been reading all this stuff, you know where I'm going.
I do.
White Rhino, you know I'm a massive fan of this horse. I really do think he can win a top handicap somewhere. I've got Ultima written all over him, or possibly a national if they can get his rating up a bit higher. I'm a massive fan of the jockey, Henry Brook. Another really underrated rider. And the training team of Greenlaw and Guerrero. Excellent yard. They've got some really nice horses. Very unlucky with Iroko at the weekend, who just got jumped across. I still think he's a good horse. And this White Rhino, they have done an amazing job with it. He didn't cost very much either. And it'd be nice. I think there's quite a small ownership group own him as well. Seen him on the telly. I'd love to see it win. I think the horse is a smasher. He might not be quite up to this class, but I understand that if he drifts like that, then I do think don't lose faith with this horse. If he turns up in a top handicap somewhere, even something like a Great Yorkshire, the Ultima, even a Scottish National, something like that, I think he's a really tough, genuine, really, really likeable horse. Good jockey, good training partnership. I don't think he's overpriced at around the price he is now, but if he drifts a bit on the machine, at worst, you would be having a Nick Davis forecast with the jukebox man.
Yeah, agree with that. Andy, Cathryn, you agree with that?
Absolutely. I would love to see the Rhino win this. Really would. One thing I will say, and I thought last year that Ben Jones was riding really well. And I think at the moment, like if you notice how many howlers he's made, it's the mindset, isn't it? And you have to get out of that mindset. But I would just be sort of wondering a little bit about his confidence at the moment. Not that I think he's a bad jockey, because he's not. But he's just making one or two howlers at the moment.
I like your analysis of jockeys. The one thing, since we knew each other, we started this pod, you've actually taught me things in terms of jockeys. Do you know what? I still don't pay enough attention. It's one of my weaknesses. I even say it as a professional bettor.
If you listen a bit closer, she'd teach you how to get one to shag you.
For the listeners out there,
Yeah.
I've never shagged a jockey. Thank you very much.
Absolutely no jockey. The thing is, for me, and I'll say this to listeners now, I thank Fry for alerting me to jockey skills more than I've ever looked upon them. I tend to be like more of a form time video gut watching. This horse is a very good horse kind of guy in terms of punting. But Fry adds a dimension when she said about you really need to pay attention to jockeys. She's totally right. Proven over time, they make a lot of difference to these animals. They really do. And so I always listen to Fry when she says she's got a jockey, especially when she spots an Irish one up and coming. I'm a listener. Yeah. Interesting what you said about Ben Jones there in terms of confidence levels, etc. I like to hear things like that. John, finish the race off, please.
Nah, not interested.
That's a Nick Davis no, which we like.
Brilliant.
We move on, of course, now to the second biggest race of the day, but some might find it the biggest race of the day. So, Cathryn, can you set us off with a Nicky Henderson impression?
Wow. I mean, are we going to get a printed bit of paper in the morning? Going to wake up on Boxing Day and have dreadfully sorry to announce that the Constitution. Look, if he comes back and he beats Lossymouth and is able to give Lossymouth the 7, then great, brilliant, good for him. I actually feel sorry for this horse. Okay, there's fucking wanker Buckley saying, "Oh, you all saying he was injured. He wasn't injured, and he's never had any problems." So he's had a lung problem, which, forgive me for saying, I think is a pretty important part of a horse, as it's an important part of anybody. Also, he was lame. So of course he's been fucking injured. Why has he been out like so long? It's the connections that really fuck me off with this horse. I'm not saying he's not a good horse. Look at the horse. All right, the horses he's beaten. Okay, he's beaten John Bond. He's beaten State Man. And he hasn't just beaten them, he's annihilated them. Now, I was very late to the party of Constitution Hill. When I saw him win the Champion Hurdle, I thought, okay, yeah, he's a good horse. But Jesus Christ, you've got more chance of seeing fucking Lord Lucan walking down the street, haven't you, than seeing Constitution Hill. The racecourse gallop last year, when he came home sounding like Darth Vader, that racecourse gallop, whatever you think about him being lame behind, that horse doesn't sound right. Just, there's nothing wrong with him. Why has he had another wind up?
Yeah.
Look, I really hope that he comes back and he is the horse that everyone thinks he is, because God only knows, British racing, we fucking need him. We need a superstar this side of the sea. And I hope he is. But I think Lossymouth is a very, very special mare. And I would love to see her win this. I love a good mare. Dawn Run, Annie Power, Flaky Dove, Jubicilla. I've loved them all. And I would absolutely love to see her win this. But in the same vein, I'm not going to be sulking if Constitution Hill wins it, because I know how badly we need him. It's just connections. They're off their nuts.
I have a great mole into Constitution Hill, and we've been no secret that we knew a long time ago. I love this sudden Michael Buckley statement about a lung infection. We all knew that the win was fucked last year.
Yeah.
They wouldn't say it.
Yeah, you told me the beginning of last season.
Win's fucked. So they've done ops, but then same contact recently has told me that this horse has worked very well. Very, very well.
Okay.
But it's one of them, isn't it? Just because they work very, very well doesn't mean to say when you've got a race with Lossiemouth for 3 furlongs jumping hurdles, if wind packs in.
Racing pace, yeah.
That's the difference. They ain't working at racing. The Gallop with Sergino, it's not a lung infection. The horse's wind is cracked.
Yeah.
So it's up to punters to decide what to do here, because the Constitutional that we know that beat Stateman 9 lengths will beat Lossiemouth.
Yes.
But if the Constitutional is not probably within £10 of that level, Lossiemouth will beat Constitutional. So that's the decision making for punters. Burdett Road will make the run-in, not in that level. The other two are just nondescripts in terms of these two. So, John, where are you coming from in this?
Watching brief. No need to have a bet.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, John, have a little tipple.
Have a little come on, John. I'm on the Sipsmiths now. This is 44.5%. Lovely.
Just a little whiff of it before the old boy.
If somebody put a gun to me head, I'd back Lossiemouth.
Yeah. Can you make sure that Lydia doesn't interview me after the race?
No,
Thank
she
you.
I don't want her trying to tell me the state of the ground because I know better, all right? And it's heavy.
This is just awesome.
Nice.
Andy?
I think I'm with John. That horse called Watching Brief will be the one for me. But I'm just hoping for a piece of paper and a bit of peace in our time. Be quite handy. I agree with everything that's been said. We probably need a horse like Constitution.
We do need him, yeah.
Say that he hasn't been injured or fucked in some sort of way. Like Cathryn, I always like a good mare, equine sense, of course. Not in a sex elf way. Like John, if I had a gun put to my head up, you do know one thing: Lossiemouth is fitting well, and you're not quite sure about Constitution Hill, no matter how many pieces of paper get exit from the Seven Barrows printer.
Yep.
But you don't have to have a bet, so I'd sit back and watch, and then hope Lydia interviews.
I hope she does. I really hope she does, and gives him 7 barrels, John. That Racing Post journalist that called the yard 7 barrel.
Yeah.
Brilliant. 7 barrels of rum.
There's another name for a horse, isn't it? Soft on time.
Yeah.
If we ever get a Barstewards horse, we've got a load of names.
We have.
On times, it'd have to be one of them.
We need about 4,000 more subscribers, though, to get a horse.
Well, fair enough. Well.
Yeah, and we're not going to get that. We're talking about sex elves, Steve Coogan,
Father Ted, Pat Mustard, Max Bygraves, Jimmy Savile. Can you believe what we've got in a horse racing?
Yeah, I mean,
you will get subscribers if you get the right hashtags on it. I'm not saying they'll be interested in racing, but
Max Bygraves is probably the best one I've heard so far. Anyway, right, the final TV race before we come to any more business is, of course, the Pierre de Resistance. This is absolutely tremendous in terms of quality. I love the King George this year. I'm a fan. This is a proper King George, Fry.
Yeah, I like it. Thank Christ.
Fry, I'm coming to you first on your King George opinion.
Okay. I'm a massive fan of Spillane's Tower. I'm a huge fan of that horse. I think we could be looking at a future Gold Cup winner in Spillane's Tower. Is the ground going to be okay for him? I don't know, but what's the old saying? Good horses go on any ground? I actually thought that Banbridge was going to beat an Ergonem before he tipped up. And obviously the fact that Paul Townend has picked up the ride, I think it's an absolutely brilliant renewal of the King George. I'm actually not going to have a bet because I think if I did, my emotions would rule my betting head, because there's horses in here that I'm very fond of, especially Spillane's Tower. But one horse that I do think is really overpriced, and bearing in mind that he seems to have got his form back and the stable is going really well, they're like banging in winners on the all-weather as well. I think the Real Whacker is overpriced at 25-1 if you're backing each way. If you fancied one of the Fabs and you were looking for something to put in forecasts, I wouldn't be ruling him out of filling the places. But no, I think it really is superb.
It's one of the best,
it really is.
best renewals I've seen, for a while.
If I'd have got on in time, I probably would have nabbed the first prices on Il Francais, because I think what he seems to have is an intermittent problem. And some horses can do that, can't they?
He bleeds and then he bounces back after a bleed.
he is only 6. At some point, or we don't know, it might have even happened, there has to be some kind of legal veterinary involvement that can be done to stop that. I just love the way he jumps those Kempton fences, and I think he'll be able to see some side of him. But it's brilliant. You got like Envoy Allen. Like, I love Envoy Allen and Adal and Rachel. This is a cracker, and I'm really pleased. But again, where would we be without the Irish?
Exactly.
Or the French.
Yeah, or the French.
Full kudos to the Irish and the French here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Full kudos for doing this, because they've made this very spicy.
Yeah, they have, and then thank God. This is what British racing should be looking at and going, oh shit, well actually without him, and him, this would be, oh yeah, okay. But that's not going to happen anytime soon, so.
Andy, your thoughts on the King George?
Well, I've already had a bet about 2 weeks ago on the back of the weather forecast and hoping that there was no rain. Top of the shot, Banbridge. If he stays, I think he could win this. It's a bit of a chance. He was 8s when I backed him. Trumpets, Chris Paul. He's a little bit shorter now, but I don't think he's far off Spillane's Tower. I do understand Cathryn's love for Spillane's Tower. If he did win, whether he'd be able to understand the winning interview is another matter.
Yeah, but at least he wouldn't be an arse.
No, he wouldn't be an arse. No, that's true. I just wondered if he was a little bit flattered behind Factor File last time out, but
oh God, what a race that was!
It was a fantastic race. I get your love for Spillane's Tower. Of the others, I'd love to see Lompresse win for Venetia, and it wouldn't be un-Venetia-like to bring the horse back from a long break. The French horses, I get what Lee has always said about Ile Francais, but it's got some good form. You're going to get him on a missed day or a hit day. Grey Dawning, I just can't get over the fact that Betfair Chase was really gruelling. Could have just left the mark. Corbett's Cross, I don't think jumps well enough. Envoy Allen, post sober, a bit while ago. Brave Man's gone. No, thank you very much. The other 2 French ones were one's for 5-year-old. We haven't had a winner of 5-year-old winners since about 1960. Not that many have run in it. So I kept coming back to Banbridge around a sort of working man's each way price if he stays, or even as a trade, because I think he'll travel really well through this. Just hope it doesn't rain between now and Boxing Day. So that's where I was with it.
Yeah, I get the Banbridge thing in terms of soft ground at Cork on the last run. A tremendous run.
Yeah, I think that angle is a little bit overplayed. I think he's got better on it, but he's a better horse on better ground.
He is a better horse on better ground, yeah.
I think he can handle, good to soft, maybe some soft, but he's just a better horse when he can bounce off the ground.
Yeah.
The key of the race for me is Grey Dawning. I think it's terrible placing. Anything that runs in the Betfair Chase in absolutely 3 foot deep ground and then turns out here ain't well prepared. If it wins, fair play. But if you're backing Grey Dawning, don't be surprised if that runs to absolutely nothing. It's a very strange placing for me from Fathead Skelton. Yes. John, to finish us off on the King George.
No, Rain Banbridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then, like Cathryn said, thanks to the Irish and the French for making this. Even the one that's the rag, the General on Chef. Of course, if you listen to John on the cookery show, John, of course, is General on Chef in terms of cookery exploits, which is absolutely tremendous. Him and Nick Davies show you how to cook meat. What a great show.
Brilliant.
I'm waiting for both of them on MasterChef.
They should be.
Oh, that would be superb.
Obviously, Som's Mr. Wallace, which would be a blessed relief.
Oh, yeah, dirty bastards, yeah. There's another one I always said was a fucking wrong one as well.
That'd be a good like-for-like swap, wouldn't it, if I took Wallace's job?
Yeah, but you're not going to be like standing there going, "Ooh, nice horse, darling. Ooh, look at that plate of plums."
80s, I thought that was big because it didn't stay in the Hennessy. And back to this, who knows? That might just become big.
Yeah.
Don't rule that out at a price. What a great race and a race to savour, I think we're saying there.
Don't upset people calling races a Hennessy. You've got to call them by their proper names. James Knight.
He always is. Corporate stooge. Works for Corp, supports Corp. That's what we have to deal with this on a daily basis. Corp stooges that have to answer to their paymasters to, of course, pay their mortgages. That's where we're at, I'm afraid, in racing right now. You either listen to James Knight, Maddie Player, Lee Mottershead on various media platforms. That's where we're at. Okay, let's back to serious business in terms of let's give them a lucky 15. You're not overruling me on this. Fire Flyer is mine and Andy's. We're domineering on that. That's my selection, Fire Flyer. You can fuck off with your S Perfecto, Fry. So, Fry, I would like you to add to the lucky 15.
So I have to put one in for Boxing Day, or can I do one for the 27th?
Yeah, 27th.
I can.
Yeah.
Okay, can I put in a 12:35 Leopardstown on the 27th? Can I put in Birdie or Bust?
Birdie or Bust. Love that. Yeah, I've not looked at the race at all. I can't comment on it.
It's our darling Rachel.
Are you really confident?
Yeah, massively.
Love this.
I did the 1, 2, 3 because I thought that we were going to do it, and that was my one.
There we go. So Fry's goes into the lucky 15 Birdie or Bust at Leopardstown on the 27th to go with Fire Flyer 12:45 Kempton on Boxing Day. Andy,
I'll go Banbridge then.
Banbridge in the King George for Andy.
Yeah.
That goes in there. Absolutely will love the ground. I've always thought Kempton's his barrow as well. I think he goes really well. Even though the anti-purse Barstewards was Ile Francais at 10, but it's not 10 now, is it?
To the baby Joe.
Yeah, so we're bored of that. But we're now more interested in Banbridge. John. John's Saint Bath now, isn't he? He's like doing a Gervais with Boz Eye. What do you want me to do?
Saint Bath, doing a funeral plan, yeah.
Retirement plan, cremation plan, John. Assisted dying, all that shit. Yeah.
On the plus side, I won't need much assistance.
Be like that. Oh, him. I'd be all right. 5 minutes.
Right, to finish the show off in style, what are you adding to the lucky 15?
Not much, really. Dalston Lad in the 325 at Aintree. It's an unbeaten horse in the bumper.
All right. You want a fab, as I've always said.
Yeah, well, it'll give everybody a bit of stress if it's the last leg.
Imagine that being last leg. We've done 3 winners running onto that, John.
It won't be the last.
Mine's on 27.
Oh, yeah. Fries are on 27, so that's it.
Fucking hell, I could have put one in the uni.
I really fancy another one on the 27th. Sorry, my cat's got my pen and she's just sat on my notebook.
Is that a euphemism?
No, my cat. It is actually my cat. Obviously, I can't get her to say hello right now because she doesn't speak. For fuck's sake. Okay, Limerick, 3:41 on the 27th. Dumb Love. We've all been there.
Elvis. Is that Conor McNamara in the saddle?
I do believe it could be Conor McNamara. My computer's just turned itself off. And also, I fancy one of... You'll love this, actually, John. I fancy one of McCain's. Wetherby on the 27th, Grand Albert, 1:35.
Is that on the Thursday or the Friday?
1:35, Wetherby.
No, it can't be. That's the rule of merit.
No, that's on the 27th.
The Friday.
Not
yeah, that's why. Okay.
These are all on the 27th.
I actually prefer the racing on the 27th, apart from the King George and the Constitution Hill, Lossiemouth. My cat's run off my pen now.
He would do. And I think we've all ended up for Pat Mustard, Max Bygrave, Jimmy Savile, Elvis, and amongst others.
My cat.
Catherine's cat. But I know you've loved Cathryn back. And I know you've loved Andy back. And me and John just surf the show like tug-of-war merchants at the back pulling the rope. So we really do hope you've enjoyed it. And we wish you an absolutely superb Christmas. We'll be back on Sunday talking absolute total ramble. Vile, uncouth people talking rubbish on Sunday. That's all from us. Bye for now.